Ever wondered what really makes people tick? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the human mind. We're going to look at some pretty powerful and honestly kind of unsettling psychological tricks that are used to influence people. And listen, this isn't some kind of magic trick. It's all about a deep, deep understanding of human nature. We're going to unpack the exact tools that some of the most influential figures in the world use to shape our choices, a lot of the time in ways we don't even see happening. Okay, but before we jump in, a really important warning. This knowledge is, well, it's powerful. The whole point here is to understand these techniques so you can spot them, not so you can go out and use them unethically. So let's just be responsible with this stuff, okay? All right, let's get right into it. Kicking off our countdown at number 5, we've got a technique called the revenge trap. So what is this? Well, it taps into something called psychological reactance. You know that rebellious feeling you get when someone tells you you can't do something, that urge to just prove them wrong? Yeah, that's it. When you forbid someone from doing something, you're not just giving an order. You're basically challenging their freedom, their autonomy. And this is where it gets really, really clever. A direct request like, hey, can you do this? That's easy to say no to, right? But the revenge trap, it just kind of bypasses the no altogether. By subtly challenging their ability, you're not really asking for a favor anymore. You're lighting a fire under their ego. And suddenly their desire to prove you wrong is what makes them do exactly what you wanted in the first place. Okay, so we've talked about playing on someone's ego. Now let's move on to trick number 4. This one is all about messing with the feeling of freedom itself. It's called the illusion of choice, and it's brilliant, really. It's about keeping control but making the other person feel like they're the ones steering the ship. I mean, it's a fascinating question, right? Do we really make our own decisions, or are we just picking from the menus someone else wrote for us? The idea here is that real power isn't about forcing someone to do something. Nope. It's about designing the choices so that no matter what they pick, you win. Just look at the difference here. If you ask, want to go out tonight, they can just say, nah, easy. But if you ask, should we get Pizza Hut or Domino's tonight? Well, you've completely reframed it. The decision isn't if you're going out, it's where. Both options lead to the same place, you getting pizza. You get what you want, and they feel like they made the call. Genius. And once you see this pattern, I promise you are going to see it everywhere. In politics, in marketing deals, even in simple day-to-day negotiations. And you know why it's so effective? Because having too many options, total freedom, can actually be kind of overwhelming. We secretly kind of like being given a couple of good options. It makes us feel like we're in control, even when the game is written. Okay, so controlling choices is pretty subtle, right? But our number 3 trick, this one dives headfirst into emotion. And it's one of the most powerful tools out there, period. It's called the guilt trap. Just think about it for a second. If you try to force someone to do something, what happens? They push back, they resist. But guilt? Oh, that's different. Guilt is an internal pressure. If you can make someone feel guilty, they become their own police officer. They're driven to fix things all on their own, and you don't even have to do anything. And the real key here is how it's delivered. A direct confrontation just makes people defensive, right? It builds walls. But the guilt trap, it makes them look inward. You're not pointing a finger and accusing them. You're just holding up an emotional mirror and letting their own conscience do all the heavy lifting. All right, our runner-up at number 2 is something I bet you've experienced 100 times without even realizing it had a name. It's called the emotional hijack. This right here, this gets to the absolute core of how we make decisions. We love to think of ourselves as logical, rational creatures. But the truth? The vast majority of our big decisions are driven by how we feel. See, when our emotions are running high, our rational brain just kind of takes a backseat. And if someone can tap into those powerful feelings, fear, pride, love, whatever, they can pretty much bypass your logical filter and talk directly to the part of you that actually makes the call. You know who's a master at this? Politicians, advertisers. They don't sell you a product based on a list of specs. They sell you a feeling, security, pride, the fear of missing out. And once they get you caught up in that emotion, your logical defenses just kind of melt away, and you become way more open to whatever it is they're selling. And now, the moment we've been waiting for, the number 1 dark psychology trick. And interestingly, it's not about what you say at all, it's about what you don't say. It's the power of silence. You know, we often think the most powerful person in the room is the one talking the most, right? The loudest one, the one grabbing all the attention. But the truth is, real power isn't with the speaker. It's with the one who's quietly listening and observing. Why? Because silence is like a vacuum, and the human mind absolutely hates a vacuum. So when you create that silent space, other people feel this incredible urge to rush in and fill it. I mean, think about this example. It's so perfect. A parent yelling at a kid, that's just noise. You can tune it out. But a parent just giving that cold, silent stare of disappointment, oof, that is way more powerful. Your own mind starts to panic, filling that silence with guilt, with anxiety, and this desperate need to make things right. So if you're ever in a tough negotiation or even just a heated argument, remember this: silence can be your secret weapon. It puts an incredible amount of psychological pressure on the other person. They start to doubt themselves, they question what they're saying, and pretty soon they'll just start talking to fill that uncomfortable quiet, and you'll be amazed at what they reveal. So there you have it. From using someone's own ego against them with the revenge trap, all the way to weaponizing pure silence. These 5 tricks really show just how easily our minds can be influenced. It's a pretty stark reminder of how powerful psychology is, which leaves us with one last really big question to think about. Where exactly is the line between influence and manipulation? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.